Welcome back to the channel. Good to see you again. Colin here with another one of the No More Mr. Nice Guy series. Today we're going to take a look at caretaking. What is caretaking? What are the benefits of caretaking, or what are the negatives of caretaking, and how does this prevent nice guys from getting their needs met? So in the previous video we looked at covert contracts, right? Which is you're expecting something in return for you doing something. An example is, if I buy you an ice cream, I expect you to buy me a drink. A stupid example, but an example nonetheless. About, these are covert or unconscious strings attached to things that you do for others in order to get your needs met. And we're going to dive into a bit more of that with the caretaking. They tie into each other with covert contracts and caretaking. So let's take a look at it. So covert contracts and caretaking. A common way nice guys use their covert contracts, which we covered, as I said, in the previous video, which you can go back and check it. It's episode 16. So when nice guys are caretaking, they believe their caretaking is from a place of love, and it makes them a good person. But for nice guys, this couldn't be further from the truth. It's a big misconception. So, sorry. The truth of nice guys is their caretaking, from a nice guy's perspective, has nothing to do with being loved or being good. That is a lie that they tell themselves. So from a nice guy's standpoint, caretaking is nothing but immature and an indirect attempt at getting their needs met. What does that mean? Well, there are two parts of caretaking, right? Part number one is essentially they focus on another person's problems, needs, or feelings in order to, which goes to number two, feel valuable, get one of their own needs met, or to avoid dealing with their problems or feelings that they have. And Dr. Robert Glover gives examples in his book, No More Mr. Nice Guy. I know I refer to it a lot every episode, but it is what we're covering, and it is a very essential book to get. I highly recommend getting this book as a starting point. So yeah, so essentially they are focusing on other people, and they're doing it to make themselves feel valuable, to get their own needs met, which we'll go into more on the next slide, or to avoid dealing with their own problems or feelings. Shall we look at the next one? So what is caretaking, essentially? Or what is the difference between caretaking, which I described to you as the nice guys here, and from actually caring? There's difference. Robert Glover gives the examples or gives the information. Let's take a look. So there is an actual difference between the nice guys caretaking and what they do for others as loving, but it has nothing to do with caring. So, for example, caretaking. What is caretaking? Caretaking is how does a nice guy caretake? He gives to others what he thinks he needs, essentially, right? He gives to others in the hopes of to get his own needs met. So he'll give what he needs, thinking that they need it. And this comes from a place of emptiness within the giver, right? So the giver gives what others gives to others what the giver needs to give, and it comes from a place inside, from emptiness. And it always has, again, back to the covert contract, unconscious strings attached to it. There's always some kind of covert contract, some kind of condition attached to this. It's never freely given. Again, remember, nice guys always keep score. Guilty as well here. I always used to keep score on the journey to fix all of this myself. I think I am guilty of the caretaking a lot as well. Discovered I've done that quite a bit. It's been an interesting look at life going through this. So there's always strings attached. Okay. Now what is caring? What is actual caring? Caring is when you give to others what they need. Not what you need, what they need. And it comes from a place of abundance. It comes from a place of you give because you want to give. You give just because you can. You have the abundance to give. It has no strings attached. A good example for this, or just for a metaphor, or a rule of thumb that I would use in my own life. If I lend out money to someone, my rule of thumb would be lend out on the basis of thinking to yourself, they will never pay it back again. And if you can accept paying it out without ever receiving it back again, then there's no strings attached. It's a metaphor to use. It's pretty good, makes it clear. So it has no strings attached. So nice guys caretake, or caretaking, has nothing to do with love. Nice guys give in the way that they want the other person to give to them. And another example would be nice guys encouraging their LTR or their wife, long-term partner, to get a new outfit, or maybe go back to school. Could be take a trip, a holiday, or whatever. But they encourage this, but they will not allow themselves to do this. So they encourage it in the hopes of that they get encouraged to do it, in a sense, if you understand. Because they won't allow themselves to do any of that stuff. And the next part is, so essentially, yes, so you will give in the hopes of getting back what you gave. So if I, for example, support my wife to go on a self-care trip, go do your hair, nails, spa, salon, the whole thing, massage, and what I'm actually doing there, as an example, is I'm hoping that I will get a day of, you can go and do self-care, kind of thing of, do what you want, go for a steak, go for a massage, go for a guy's day out, basically. This is what you're kind of hoping for example. And there is an activity you can do. So the activity I would recommend is, or that also Robert Glover sort of recommends, is, those far I say, is write down or journal some of your caretaking behaviors. Now you can write down one in a journal on a piece of paper. I would recommend maybe write 4 to 5, just so that it starts sinking into your mind more, and you can start noticing more of these caretaking behaviors. This will make you more aware of the behavior. And then there are 2 activities you can do after that. So once you have your examples, pick one, and you can consciously stop caretaking, stop doing that example that you wrote down, stop doing it for a while. Obviously, as Robert Glover does give the warning, if it's a child and the child is dependent on you, don't stop. That, you know, don't stop giving completely to young children or anyone that's dependent on you. We don't need that. It's not in that sense. But something that would not affect someone's life, you know, they won't die if you do something like that. Stop caretaking completely. You can tell the people around you what you're doing. I don't know if I would recommend that. Let's say it's 50-50. I am not doing that at the moment. I am doing it as I'm going along. The next thing you can do is you can observe how you feel when you're not doing these behaviors. And then the next step, or another one you can do, is if you identify this one, try do it more. Again, Robert Glover has that way of doing more, makes you more aware of it because you're constantly trying to do more, so you start getting more aware of it. So you can create more awareness, and then see how you feel and how the other people react when you do more. If you take that route, I personally would took the first route. I would mark out the things that I did, caretaking, and then I kind of stopped doing that. I wouldn't say stop, but I noticed what I was doing, and I took a step back and adjusted it onto my terms instead of asking for permission or just caretaking with regards to expecting something back. I just did it in a caring way instead and not expect anything back from that. And then you just make sure you note down how you feel, how it went, and just create an awareness around the caretaking versus your caring. Remember, caring behavior, it has no strings attached. Give what that person actually needs, and it comes from a place of abundance. It comes from love. It comes from, there's no demand of anything. It's not from a scarcity mindset. Yeah. That sums it up for this one. Thanks for watching, coming along on this journey. Leave a comment down below. What do you caretake on? Are you caretaking, or do you just care? What do you think? Can give some examples of more caretaking that people can do in their lives. How is the video, the audio, everything? If there's any problems on the audio, please let me know. I will upgrade it at a later date. The equipment. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you on the next one.